We are back with another Wuthering Waves video. We're literally playing Wuthering Waves. And I wanted to go over the banners for Shorekeeper as she is coming out tonight. And I wanted to just give a breakdown on, honestly, in a banner analysis on both Shorekeeper and Jiyan. So now I'm on the game right now just to, pull up some things. But so right now we have Shorekeeper first half, and then the second half is going to be Jiyan. Now, I have to be as transparent with you as I possibly can be. Shorekeeper is a must-pull unit. If we look in the video game, we only have two genuine sustains. We have Verena and we have Baiji. Jiyan, despite what anyone wants to tell you, Jiyan is not a real sustain, unfortunately. Jiyan takes way too much time to do the whole little... And at S0, their sustain capabilities are not there. Taoqi is genuinely big booba, but the probably worst feeling character to play with. They just don't feel good. Their shield is not very consistent. You have to not get hit. She as well gets interrupted and is just not very good. So when you're looking in the sustain department, you really don't have anyone. You have Verena, who is annoying to use, but she's still goated, especially because of her outro. And then you have Baiji, who people have no idea how to play. So then you throw in Shorekeeper, and then that's just a different combo. Now, I'm going to drop a whole video on Shorekeeper and why I think you should, roll her and go more into the specifics of it after. But that being said, I think Shorekeeper is amazing. I think, unfortunately, her character banner and her weapon banner fall completely flat. And it's not even funny. So let's talk about these. Let's start from the right to left. Everyone knows I dislike Chixia with a passion. Now, I do have to be non-biased and say that Chixia can be a solid unit. I do not like their gameplay style. There are no other good guns in this game other than the static mist. If it's not the static mist, it's trash. Don't use it. I mean, like, yes, you could use the cadenza, but that's not really what she needs. She needs the static mist. So if you really wanted to use her and maximize her to her potential, you need static mist. Her gameplay to me feels clunky. And I feel like there are just so many better characters to use than Chixia. Her constellations are not bad. Excuse me, like she can go with this, she can be a main DPS. Like you do throw the Molten Rift set on her, throw like Inferno Rider, do the 3 hits, bam, and then you pop off like your ult, then you do the Forte, but she's just not really an optimal 4-star, And now granted, we only have so many 4-stars in the game, but like she's really not where it's at. I'm not gonna lie to you. I could see the utility for her, but I'm not a fan, and it's okay. Now, YangYang is YangYang is hard because as someone who clears tons and tons and tons and tons of viewer abyss, I actually use YangYang. I said abyss, tower adversity. I actually use YangYang in the hardest floors, like the level 4 floors, and sometimes even level 5 floors, even if it's level 1, just to group up enemies, and then that's it. For me, in an end game capacity, all she has to offer is her immediate burst coming into TOA, and that is it. I don't use her for anything else, especially if she's a lower level. Is good if you decide to build her because of her outro, where it will give restore 4 resonance energy for 5 seconds for the incoming resonator. That's not bad, but these middle forte circuits are pretty much just a waste. And arrow damage bonus it is what it is. So her team compositions, unfortunately, are pretty limited. Now, you're going to see people doing crazy challenge accounts like do Zhang Liao and YangYang, right? That makes sense because, like, again, you're getting resonance energy into your Zhang Liao. And sometimes it's hard to build characters in this game. You might not have good enough ER by himself in order to really make it worthwhile. So that's not a bad option. But again, it is still on the lower echelon of priorities. Again, her real main use is CC and TOA, and that is really it. And then the last one is going to be Taoqi. The thing with Taoqi is Taoqi has one singular role. Here they're giving her 3 combat roles. Stop it. Stop it. She has one. It's Resonance Skill Damage Amplification. If you run Taoqi with Jinxie, this is worth it. Taoqi perfectly synergizes with Jinxie, and now, granted, you do have Gigi now to synergize with Jinxie, where Gigi gives 25% skill damage amplification, but Taoqi, I believe, gives 38, if I'm not mistaken. So you could technically hit higher, damage numbers with Taoqi, but the setup and the actual overall DPS, I think, is going to be lower than running with Gigi because she really has no utility. Granted, you don't really need to build her. The good thing about her and Yanu is you really don't need to build her at all. Get a level 40 or 50, throw on Discord, just throw on a Moonlit set and kind of call it a day. You don't even need to level anything. And so, like, she is a very low investment 4-star. So that's cool. Not Discord, I'm sorry. Wait, where's the defense one? You can throw Dauntless. Yeah. When intros cast, attack by 15%. Yeah. I mean, Discord's not bad either for the energy regen, just due to the fact that you technically do need the Concerto energy. So you can go Discord or this, whichever one. But Discord would probably be the best one. But regardless, the point is, I woke up. I'm tired. I just woke up. You can tell my voice. The point is, she's, again, not on the upper echelon of 4-stars. And again, we only have so many 4-stars in the game, so obviously I have to rerun as many as possible. But I just feel as if, like, I think they could have done a little bit better for Shorekeeper's banner. I'm not saying give Youhu that banner, because I don't agree with that. I think the motherfuckers complaining about Youhu not being on the banner are stupid. But, like, good CC in endgame, I just don't like at all. I can't use her. I really just don't like her. And good with Jinxie, other than that, don't even bother using. Again, Shorekeeper's amazing. Shorekeeper buffs crit damage. She has a little bit of CC based in from some of her dreams in her kit. She has she just needs ER and HP, so she's gonna be super easy to build. And she's just going to be the best sustain in the game. Now, the weapon banner. This is another one of those things where realistically, this is not that good. I'm gonna bring up Hakushin real quick just so I could show you Common Flare. I don't know if Common Flare is on this account. We just went over Discord. Discord is a good weapon. It's good to have. Eventually, maybe someday someone will use it. But the main Claymore people are not using Discord. You know what I'm saying? So realistically, it's a good weapon, but nobody uses it. So it's kind of whatever. Comet Flare it's a weapon. It's a weapon. When dealing basic attack damage or heavy attack damage, increase healing bonus by 3%, stacking up to 3 times. You don't even use this on healers. Every healer uses variation for ER. So, like, the idea of this weapon is cute. And could you technically run this on your Shorekeeper in the meantime if you don't have variation, which we'll get to in a moment, in a few minutes? Yes, you could run this. But realistically, Comet Flare is not that great. Now, it does come with HP. Most likely, Shorekeeper is going to be scaling with HP, so this could be good. But it's really not that great. And then you have the new weapon, Endless Collapse. Now, this is not a leak. They actually showed this on Z Twitter. Endless Collapse. I went over this in my video talking about the actual live stream. I think these weapons are really mid. I don't like them, truthfully. Casting Resonance skill grants 6 Resonance energy and increase attack by 10%, lasting for 16 seconds. The effect can be triggered once every 20 seconds. It's an okay weapon. It's literally okay. It's double attack. It's nothing crazy about it. It's just okay. And that's the problem I have with it. It's just there. I feel like if they were going to add a new 4-star set, whether it's easy to obtain or not, I think there should have been more variety. Maybe throw crit damage, crit rate, energy regen. Just give me something. I think the double attack stack is an L. So this weapon banner is really not that great. Now, to her weapon, the Stellar Symphony. Here's the God's honest truth about her weapon. Her weapon is a good buff for Baiji, because Baiji is a HP scaling, right? But you do not need this weapon at all. Now, don't get tricked into the energy regen of 77% here, right? Because if you go to variation, right? Let's pull this up real quick. Boom. Here we go. Weapons. So many ads, brother. So many ads on the internet now. Whatever happened in the good old days. 51.8% compared to 77. So you probably think, wow. Wait a second. That's a lot of ER. That's a lot of ER. But this weapon is not giving a significant buff in the way that other weapons do. This weapon's actually kind of more on the tame side. Now, if you wanted to get this for Baiji and use variation on her, or like vice versa, whatever, like that I could get it. but this is one of the times I would genuinely probably recommend skipping the weapon banner. Increase HP by 12%, restore 8 Concerto energy when casting Resonance Liberation. This effect can be triggered one time every 20 seconds. That's a long time, bro. 8 Concerto energy for casting Resonance Liberation in 20 seconds. Now, granted, when are you going to get your Resonance Liberation that often? But still, 20 seconds is a while. When casting Resonance skill that heals, increase party members' attack by 14% for 30 seconds. Effects of the same name cannot be stacked. It sounds very good, but I believe, I don't remember their name on Twitter. I apologize. Someone, I think, did the math. It's like a fucking 10% buff or something, like, you know, to a team, as opposed to variation, which is 51.8% ER. When Resonance skill is cast, restores 8 Concerto energy. She just needs the ER. Her base kit is so strong and already buffs crit damage and buffs attack to the point where it's like, I think this is just way overkill. You're going to run ER echoes on her regardless, so that 77%, in my mind, the value has dropped significantly because it's really not as valuable as people are going to make it seem. Therefore, this is a pretty skip weapon banner. This weapon banner is not that great, and this Shorekeeper banner could have been a lot better. I feel like it could have been better. Again, I'm not talking about Youhu. I think Youhu should have been on the Jiyan banner. I still agree with that 100%. But this is pretty rough. This is a rough banner. I'm not going to lie to you. So 07 to all the Shorekeeper wanners. You know, if you have C6 of all of these, which you probably already do, I mean, it is what it is. The game just doesn't have a lot of 4 stars. Getting into the second half of the banner. This banner's killer. This banner is absolutely insane. Jiyan is still an overall good DPS. I actually just dropped a video recently about my tier list. I do think Jiyan, you can make the argument Jiyan went down a little bit. Excuse me. But I think Jiyan is actually going to go up a little bit in the tiers because of the fact that of Youhu. So I did drop a whole video on Youhu as well. If you want to know more about their kit, I'll link that towards the end of the video. But pretty much, she is going to be buffing coordinated attacks. If I could spell coordinated right. There you go. The timing, her outro skill, the incoming resonator has a coordinated attacks damage amplification by 100% for 28 seconds. Now, obviously the damage amplifier can change. This is based on speculation, rumors, and innuendo. But 100% damage amplification for coordinated attacks. If you run the Youhu, Mortefi, Jiyan team, you're looking pretty. You know, shout out to my boy E-Ragon, who has a C6 Jiyan. He's about to go crazy with this, you know? So, we'll go to Jiyan in a moment. I wanted to touch on Youhu first. Youhu is a very good sustain. The thing is that they have healing in their kit. They have damage in their kit. They have their kit's RNG. So other than their burst, their kit is genuinely RNG. So it is a little iffy. You know, you're not gonna have the soft pillow like protection of Shorekeeper or a Verena or even a Baiji on your team, because you could get screwed and not get her healing capabilities, right? But Youhu is still a very versatile 4-star who, just in that fact alone, you should be pulling on this banner. I'm going to be pulling for Youhu, just straight up. I'm pulling for Youhu. She's great. Good character. Sanhua, I just dropped a video recently on a very underrated team, which would be Sanhua and Changli. Sanhua has pretty much the best Concerto energy regen in the video game. She doesn't really need a lot of investment either. You could run her on Commando. You could throw Emerald. You could throw whatever you want on her. You can even throw Overture. It's not really a big deal. You put her on Moonlit. Normally, I would recommend going with the Heron on Moonlit, but it's really not a big deal. It's whatever you really have. The Heron will help a lot. But you go with the Heron. You throw on Moonlit. You just get her Concerto energy up and you swap with characters. You know, her and Encore still a valid team. Her with Changli still a really good team. My nail clipper just, you know, snipped in my finger. Unfortunate. She is just overall a great character that she's obviously best for hot swaps. She's obviously very, very good for hot swaps and basic attack damage amplification. But even forgetting the damage amplification part of her outro skill, because like that doesn't even work that well with Changli, she's still so good at just the Concerto that you're taking down enemy shields so fast. There's really no bad side to Sanhua. She's just great. She's overall a top tier unit. Mortefi has a interesting situation where right now, Mortefi is really mainly only tied to Jiyan but that's okay because those two are perfect together. And every time Jiyan runs, as we can see, Mortefi's been there. Mortefi's an amazing unit. You do want Static Mist. I mean, you could throw Cadenza, but I think you don't need that much ER. I think you throw Static Mist on him, and then after that, you could still get enough ER from your other Echoes, right? But similar with Sanhua, throw Moonlit, throw Heron. You're buffing heavy damage amplification, which is going to in turn buff Jiyan, and he is just overall very solid. His Eidolons are still very good as well, and his Forte Circuit is amazing. Like, he is just overall a great unit. He doesn't really work that much with like a Jinxie. You could run him with a Changli, like that is a possibility. I have seen people run him with Changli and whatnot, but again, his outro skill is really only giving heavy damage amplification, so kind of it is what it is. But you know, you can run him in a few other niche teams. I have seen them run with Johnson. I mean, Johnson is Johnson though. But that's a different story. But yeah, he is still another great 4-star. Now, why is he so good, though, in terms of this specific banner? Well, as we saw, before the meta was Jiyan, Mortefi, Verena. I think it's going to be Jiyan, Mortefi, Youhu. This is completely based off of speculation. Giving up some healing, learning how to dodge and parry a little bit, which Jiyan, you parry 24/7. You don't even have to think and you parry. You parry with him. Parry, dodge. The damage at the... let's reset. The rotation would be Youhu. You do whatever you want to do. Outro skill into Mortefi. Mortefi gets that 100% coordinated attacks amplification. You get Mortefi's Concerto, whatever. It should be up already. Burst. Intro into him. Burst. You're going to be doing an ungodly amount of damage. An ungodly amount of damage. So this is honestly the perfect banner. Like, if Shorekeeper had this banner, I would be very happy. I probably would have played Shorekeepers with honestly like something like Donjin. Maybe keep YangYang. Even if you want to keep Taoqi, take Chixia out, but whatever. The point is, this is a top tier banner. And again, Jiyan is still a good main DPS. He just lacks in doing any solo damage. You know, now the game is really going more towards, you know, you look at someone like Changli, who can pretty much solo things. You look at someone like Zhang Liao. Donjin could solo pretty much a lot of things. Rover can be paired with someone else. You know, Jinxie has a super duper free to play team where you don't even need to pull for anyone in Yanwu and Baiji. Jiyan is really only tied to Mortefi. He does not have any flexibility. That is his only downside. So if you are getting Jiyan, know you need at least a C0 Mortefi to run him. And most likely a C0 Youhu to make it more effective. Now, excuse me, the weapon. This is where I get why they put variation here as opposed to the other one, because realistically, if you got variation, you would stop rolling for her weapon. So it makes sense. But, so, starting with Jiyan's weapon, Verdant Summit. It's a good weapon. It's good. Really nothing bad to say about it. This account doesn't have it, but... it's not really the most universal weapon of all time, like something like Emerald is, where like Emerald can really work on a million people. It is a good stat stick, but that's pretty much all it is if you're not using it outside of Jiyan. Like, people have used it on Colchero, but it's kind of like whatever. So it gives 48.6 crit damage. An increased attribute damage bonus by 12%. Every time intro resonance skill is cast, heavy attack increased by damage by 24%, stacking up to 2 times. So it's great for him. It's great for him. If you are rolling Jiyan, you're going to need this weapon. This game is centered around making 4-star weapons pretty much low-key Kakaduki in order for you to roll for the 5-star, you know, coordinated weapon to that character. So if you're not rolling for him, then it's not worth it. But yeah, like, Autumn Trace is not going to really do wonders on him, like the crit rate 18.4, and then Autumn Chase isn't bad, but you're missing out. You know, you're missing out a lot. A 362 attack compared to a 588 attack, and now granted that's at level 80, so it might go up a little bit, but it's not that great. It's not that solid. So Verdant Summon, you know, that's only if you're going for Jiyan. Variation we went over earlier. Variation's a goated ER weapon. Just easy to use. Any Catalyst user can use it. That requires some sort of healing. So those 3. Celestial Spiral is literally the same exact set from earlier. There is nothing special. about this set, unfortunately. So it kind of just it is what it is. You know what I mean? It's a double attack with same thing, cast resonance skill, grant 6 resonance energy, attack by 10%. So kind of nothing crazy. And then a Helios Cleaver is really nothing to write home about. Again, this game has a problem where the 4-star weapons are just really not that good. Helios Cleaver, when 12 seconds after resonance skills cast, attack 3% every 2 seconds, stacking up to 4 times. This is really not that great. It's just not good. It's a double attack weapon. The passive's pretty shit, and that's kind of it. So, if you were rolling on this, pray to God to get variation for any catalyst and Verdant Summon early. Other than that, the rest of it's kind of mid. You know what I'm saying? So I think this might be Wu's best patch to date, but the second half banner is stellar. Second half banner is amazing. The first half banner is pretty bad. Pretty bad. I would have rolled the weapon banner. And if you're rolling for Shorekeeper, definitely get her. I still think she's a must pull, despite the fact that her banner is still pretty mid. She's still really good though. So that being said, I love you. And sorry, I saw something wrong. I think with your mother, but I love you. I'll see you in the next one.